can know it. Verse 10. I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways, and according to the fruit of his doings. I like to use Matthew chapter 15 and verse number 8. It's my key verse here. Give you a few moments to turn it there. Matthew 15 and verse number 8. This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. You may be seated. This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and they honored me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. The message that God has given me today is entitled, We Need a Change of Heart. Change of heart. Many times we don't understand how deceitful our hearts can be. Your heart will fool you. Your heart will deceive you. Your heart would have you thinking a lie to be the truth. And the truth, your heart will see it as a lie. I've heard people erroneously say that we should follow our heart. Well, according to the Bible, that's the very thing you don't want to follow is your heart. Because the Bible tells us here in Jeremiah 17 and verse number 9, the heart is deceitful above all things. All things, even above your mind. Because your mind and your heart works together, but your mind goes off what comes from the heart. They communicate together, vice versa. But it originates in the heart, the things that determines your character, the type of person you are. Your heart shows who you really are. And because of what's in our heart, our actions will be in line with what's in our heart. So we need a change of heart. One of the Greek words for heart is metatethemi. And metatethemi means to change. And that's one thing we need to do with our heart. We need to metatethemi our heart. We need to change our heart. No wonder David cried out to God when he realized his errors of his ways, and after he had set a good man to be killed in the war, just so he could have his wife, Bathsheba. He sent Uriah. You must understand that David was a man of God. He was a man of character. But that moment that he allowed evil to enter into his heart, he sent Uriah to battle to die, to cover up his lie, because he wanted to cover up the fact that he had slept with this man's wife while he was out there at war. And he wanted nobody to know about it, but she got pregnant. And his wife and him had not been together for a very long time, so it was not a chance it could be Uriah's wife, Uriah's child by his wife. And after having Uriah to come in from battle to lay with his wife, he refused to do it because his brother was out there in war. And Uriah said, I can't go to war, and my brothers, I can't go and stay at home with my wife, and my brothers are at war. And he chose to not go to be with his wife, David, knowing that there was no way he could cover up his sin. So he allowed evil to enter into his heart, murder to enter into his heart, which had already conceived adultery in his heart and acted upon it. And so now he's trying to cover it up. And he sends Uriah to be killed in battle, and he was. Then the Lord sent a messenger, a prophet Nathan, to come to David and to rebuke him and to correct him and to let him know, I've seen everything you've done. God said, I put you on the throne. I've made you and given you everything you could ever want. I gave you the kingdom that I gave unto Saul. I stripped it from Saul because of his obedience. I gave it to you. The very man that I put so much confidence in, but he allowed himself one moment to allow evil to enter into his heart. David was a good man, a great man of God, but his heart got the best of him and caused him to fall into sin. Not only the sin of adultery, but even to become a murderer. So then the very heart that we have is the very thing we don't need to follow, because your heart will lead you astray. Your heart would cause you to lose out on many of the things in life that God has prepared for you, because you cannot trust your heart. It's deceitful above all things, the Bible says, and desperately wicked. Your heart would have you treating people wrong for no reason. Your heart would have you showing jealousy and envy right in the house of God for no reason. Your heart would have you walking past your brothers and your sisters in church and not speaking to them, and you're the problem, but you see them as the problem. Your heart would have you thinking that you're on the mountaintop when you're really living in the valley. Your heart will have you thinking that you're next to Jesus when you're in the arms of Satan. So then you cannot trust your heart, because it is deceitful. That means it lies to you. It tells you you're right when you're wrong. It tells you you're all right as long as you go to church. Don't worry about the rest of it. You don't have to do anything else. No, brother, no, sister, you got to do something else. You got to live right. The heart is so deceitful, it'll have homosexuals thinking that they're right and everybody else is wrong, including God and the Bible. The heart would have murderers thinking that they've done the right thing because they're cleansing the earth of people, when really they're the ones that are being deceived because they're destroying lives. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Tell somebody, don't let your heart fool you. In our day and time, we find that a lot of people don't love the way they ought to, the way they used to. If anybody had anyone come to your house in the last 10 years and ask for some sugar, a cup of flour, we don't even see that, never even heard of that in this day and time. But when I was coming up in the South, in Mississippi, it was easy for someone to knock on your door and say, I need, give me a cup of flour, bowl of sugar. You'd be happy to give it to them so they don't have to run to the store. But you do it today, I don't know what might happen. You might get a 45 pulled on you. You knock on the wrong doors, 9mm waiting on you, wondering why you're trying to rob me and you're just simply asking to borrow. Those things are not happening in our day and time. Something has to be wrong. What I found in Matthew 24 and verse number 12, I think I have some kind of inclination of what's happening in our day and time. In Matthew 24 and verse 12, the Bible says this. It said, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. You can always tell when someone have gotten into sin because they're easily angered, offended, and hatred towards others. Because you see, God is a God of love. So when you find people that are hateful, you don't have long to look around in their life to see that there's some issues of the heart. There's some sin hidden in their heart that's causing them to act the way they're acting, to hate the way they're hating, and to have jealousy the way they have jealousy, and malice and strife and envy. There's some issues in the heart that needs to be changed. They need a change of heart. Because iniquity shall abound, the Bible said, the love of many shall wax cold. You have mothers and fathers killing children and children killing mothers and fathers. It's happening all around. Not only that, where's the love? There was a time when you could trust the love of a woman to be a motherly, caring love. But I don't know if you've noticed over the past decade or so, there's been a lot of female teachers been molesting little boys in their classes. You know, we were used to the men trying to mess with the little girls, perverted and doing their thing. And when we were coming up, it looked like every coach we had was trying to hook up with the little girls in our classrooms. But now we've had a time that even women who's supposed to be nurturing and caring and motherly are sleeping with their students. Oh, it's happening, but it's a difference when it's a woman than it's a man, because if it's a man, you hear it all over the news. Perverted, which he is. But for some reason, it's kind of sliding under the doors and under the rugs when the teachers are doing it. The women teachers are doing it on a high scale and an alarming rate. It is happening. My wife was just sharing with me, they just announced it. It just come across the screen real small, it seems, when there's a woman teacher doing it. But nevertheless, where's that love, that caring to be there to support and not to hurt or harm a child by putting them in a position to go to an adult level in a relationship that they should not have any knowledge of or experience at that particular time? What have happened to our world when you can't even trust women teaching your children the way you used to? We knew we had to watch the men, but you got to watch the women too. Something is wrong. We need a change of heart in our world. The word heart can be found in the Bible 878 times. 718 of those times in the Old Testament, 160 of those times in the New Testament. The Bible talks about the word heart in some kind of capacity. It mentions about the word heart. The word heart, there's a Greek word for heart, it's called cardia. This word means our genuine thoughts and feelings of an individual. The genuine thoughts and feelings of an individual. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to deal with both kinds of hearts that we're going to talk about. The natural physical heart, that is an organ in our body that helps our body function. I'm going to talk about that for a few moments, and then I'm going to get back to that spiritual part of the heart that we talks about your emotions and your feelings, your inner thoughts. This part of the heart we're going to talk about a little bit later, but I want to now get a chance to bring you to the natural heart so you can see how important it is to the survival of our body, which is an organism. And our human body, this organism, survives because of the heart. It is one of the most important, if not the most important organs of the body. So I want to talk about that for a minute so we can compare the importance of the natural heart, and then we'll let you know how important our spiritual part of our heart is to us as well. Now, the heart is considered the core and central source of emotions, personality, and attributes of the innermost thoughts and feelings of an individual. The core and central source, the very most important aspect of our bodies, our minds, our emotion, our personality, the very thing that that pumps blood throughout the very parts of our bodies. And I'm going to break that down in just a moment. We know it's the life-sustaining organ of the body. We already know that's what the heart is. It definitely is a life-sustaining organ of the body. The heart dilates and contracts. And when it does that, it uses veins to bring blood to the heart, and then the arteries in turn takes the blood from the heart to various parts of our bodies. The veins bring the blood into the heart, but we also have arteries to take blood out from the heart to supply the various organs of our bodies, because they have to have blood to live, to maintain life. The heart, as we know, is located in the upper left part of our chest area. It is protected by our rib cage, if you will. It's there to help protect the heart. That's what the ribs are there for. An average human being in their lifetime, our heart beats approximately 2.5 billion times without resting, unless we're having some heart difficulties. In a human lifetime, in a whole average human lifespan, your heart beats approximately 2.5 billion times. And every one of those beats are important. Every beat, because it keeps the body flowing rhythmically and in order, functioning properly, because every organ of our bodies, every cell, every tissue, every organ which make up the organ system, which makes up the organism, which we are, that living organism, every part of us of our innermost body needs that blood to come and pump throughout our bodies, because there are certain things that the blood brings throughout the organs of the body, and oxygen is one of them, among other nutrients that our bodies need to survive. So it's so very important that our heart properly beats correctly. That there is nothing in our heart, the natural heart, there's nothing there to interrupt the proper beating of the heart, because if there's something that interrupts the beating, then the heart gets off rhythm, and then your body begins to get off rhythm, and things begin to happen in the body. A breakdown in the body starts when a foreign object or something, or a clog or something is there that is foreign to the heart, that is causing the heart to not beat and pump blood properly. The same thing with the spiritual heart. When there is some sin or evilness in our heart, then our bodies, we begin to act differently. The things we do, our actions, because we begin to think differently, and then we begin to act differently. Even if when you have hatred in your heart, you can smile all you want, but it's going to show. Yeah. Jealousy, if it's in your heart, you know, no matter how we try to cover it up, but it's going to show. Your countenance know how to show what's going on inside of you. You can say, hey, I love you, sister. The eyes, the heart, the countenance is going to show. Oh, it's going to tell. It's going to tell. So then we cannot hide. We just have to clean it up and get rid of it so that we can be right with God. Now, getting back to the natural heart, there's basically 12 parts to our heart. And I want to break down these 12 parts. On the top parts of our heart, or near the top, there's called two pulmonary arteries, and they're on the left and right side of the top of the heart, the upper part of our heart. Pulmonary artery on the left, pulmonary artery on the right. There's also up there's 4 pulmonary veins, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Remember, the arteries takes blood from the from the heart, but the veins bring blood to the heart. So there's twice as many veins coming to bring blood to the heart, so that the heart can always have enough blood because it's sending out